Hello, Accelerated Math 6-7 students. We are working on Module 4, and this is going to be Lesson 20. And Module 4, Lesson 20 is called Multi-Step Problems Using All Operations. And that's on whatever page you have in your comp book. So I'm going to turn to our iPad so that you can see the notes for today. And here is our iPad. Hold on, let me just get that for a second. So we have the notes, and they are right here. And it says, trying to keep the glare off so you guys can see. Okay, multi-step problems, all operations. The goal for today. Today we will practice finding the solution to multi-step problems. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, how do you keep track of all the steps when you're trying to find a solution to a multi-step problem? So going back to the title really quick, practice finding the solution to multi-step problems. This activity or practice or skill just is going to combine all of the different things that we've been practicing. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, when we have an unknown amount or a variable, and we're trying to solve or find the information from it. And over the last couple of lessons, we've been using tape diagrams, and we're going to continue to do that with this problem today. But the question is asking, how do you keep track of it all? So the thing that I have figured out over the years of trying to keep track of it all is that you kind of need to make a chart that has a checkoff list of things to do. So I'm going to show that to you during this practice problem right here. Okay, so it says, let's find out. A pet store owner, Brian, needs to determine how much food he needs to feed the animals. Brian knows that he needs to order the same amount of bird food as hamster food. He needs 4 times as much dog food as bird food. He needs half the amount of cat food that he needs dog food. And then the question says that if Brian orders 600 packages of animal food, how much dog food should he buy? Okay, so there is a ton of information going on in this problem. And so one of the things that we have to do is we have to come up with a way to organize it all so that we don't forget any of it. So what I like to do, I'm getting out my piece of paper, okay, and before we draw a tape or anything like that, we just need to organize so that we know what exactly we're looking for. Okay, so we know that he is trying to do food. We know that he is going to feed a bird. We know that he is going to feed hamsters. We know that he is going to feed a dog, and we know that he's going to feed cats. Okay, so that's the type of bird or food that he needs. So the bird, it says right here that Brian knows that he needs to order the same amount of bird food as hamster food. So for this problem, we know that bird equals hamster. So that means that bird and hamster are exactly the same. Okay? Then the next thing that it says in here is that he needs 4 times as much dog food as bird food. So if we go down here to, let's say the H is also equal to B, so they're equal to each other. Dog equals 4 times what the bird eats. So if I write it like that, that's telling you that I have to take whatever the bird is and do it 4 times as much, because that's what it says in the story. And then lastly, it says he needs half the amount of cat food as dog food. So we know that the cat equals half of what the dog eats. Okay? So this is a good way to organize it. Now, the problem with keeping it written this way, these expressions written this way, is we have a ton of different variables. So what I would like you to do now is we need to pick one variable and make sure that we have the quantities associated with the variable correct. So we know that the bird and the hamster are exactly the same. So if we said that bird equals X, well then we also know that hamster would equal X. So we know bird and hamster are the same, so we're going to write X plus X. We know that dog equals 4 times the bird. Well, bird was X, so now we can write plus 4x because we have to take 4 times the bird, and bird was X, so now we have 4 of X's. And then, lastly, we know that the cat was half of the dog. Well, if this amount right here, 4 times the bird, is what equals the cat, taking it in half, then what we have to do is we just have to take half of the the dog, which is half of 4x. And then all of that, according to this screen right here, says he needs to order 600 packages of food. Okay, he orders 600 packages of food. So we know our total now is going to be 600. I hope everybody's following me. So this right here is the bird, right? This right here is the hamster. This right here is the dog. And this right here is the cat. And this right here is our total food. So does everybody see how we were able to write an entire equation identifying the different parts that we need, so the multi-steps that we need? Okay, so now the next thing that I would like to do is we need to put everything that we can in common or in smaller terms. So I see right here, first of all, I have to take for the cat because I know that the cat eats half as much as the dog does. So this is the dog in here. What would half of the dog's amount be? If you said 2x, then you are correct because half of 4x is 2x. Okay, so now we bring down all the stuff we haven't used just like we have been for weeks, right? So then we have that equals 600. Okay, hopefully you're all with me. Now we have to keep combining because we have all of these x's. So I have 1x here, 1x here, 4x's here, 2x's here, and 600. So if we're counting all of our x's, we know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I see, looking at all of this, I see 8 x's, and they all equal 600. Okay, well now this looks like your tape. So we know we need a tape, right? And inside our tape it says 4 of x, or no, excuse me, sorry, 8 of x. So I know that I have to cut my tape into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal sections, and that all of them added together gives me 600. And then I know that inside here, each one of these is x because it says I have 8 x's. Okay? Well, if I have 8 sections and they all have to be divided equally, then I know that I have to take 600 and divide it by 8. So as you can see, none of this is new information. We've been doing this. There's just multiple steps to it. So I'm going to move that out of the way so you can clearly see what I did. So I have my tape. All of it equals 600. There are 8 sections. I filled in the x's, and now I'm going to determine what x will equal by dividing. So I take 600, because here it is, divided into 8 equal sections. So 8 goes into 60 7 times, which is 56. Subtract, and I get 4. Bring down the 0, I get 40. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So now I know that x equals 75. Well, if we go back to our question and look at it, it's not asking what we need x to be, because remember, x is the bird. X is also the hamster because they're exactly the same. But it doesn't ask how much the bird needs. It doesn't ask how much the hamster needs. It doesn't even ask how much the cat needs. What they want to know is how much would the dog need. So remembering to go back to what we know, it says over here that dog equals 4 times the bird's amount. Well, this right here, because it's x, is the bird's amount. So what do we have to do with this in order to find dog? Well, if you said taking 75 times 4, then you would be correct. And when you do that, you get dog needs 300 packages. Okay? So that's how many we need for the dog. All right? And that was a multi-step problem. Look at all the different steps that we had. Okay? So not too difficult. I think you guys can do it. So very quickly, let's go back to our goal. And it says, today we will practice finding the solution to multi-step problems. You just did that. How do you keep track of all the steps when trying to find the solution to a multi-step problem? My answer to that is very carefully. And in class, we'll talk about another chart that can help us. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you later. Bye.